EQG. Apologies to anyone who didn't get that joke. So I finally got to see Rainbow Rocks. I decided to wait until the DVD release because I heard that there were some scenes that were cut from the television broadcast, which worked out fine for me because apparently the DVDs had some sort of defect where Chapter 5 would play after Chapter 6. And some retailers have been giving out refunds to people who ordered the DVDs, so if the movie ends up sucking, I can't say my money went to waste. Which begs the question, did the movie suck? Let's find out. I was pleasantly surprised by the plot of this movie. Because the first movie trapped the EQG universe in this bland high school setting, I really wasn't expecting much from this. I didn't hate the movie as much as most people did, but that didn't mean it was a good film. I mean, how many times have we seen the plotline where the new girl has to defeat the evil Queen Bee by defeating her in some sort of popularity contest? And at the onset, the storyline for this film seems just as bad, if not worse. A battle of the bands concept seems just as lazy as the fall formal idea, especially when you consider the fact that the main six had little to no musical inclinations, ever. But when I actually saw the movie, I was surprised at how they pulled it off, mostly because the story focused more on Sunset Shimmer being more accepted amongst her peers. I thought that the movie was really creative with how it handled its plotline. Instead of just rehashing a familiar idea, it takes a familiar concept and puts its own little spin on it to make it its own thing, which is what the show is well known for. The setup of the conflict is arguably the strongest part of the movie. We see where our main characters are at, and we see a new threat that has to be stopped. You start to really get excited to see how they handle this, but then the movie drops the ball. Once we get to the part where the girls call on Twilight for help, the movie starts to get a little bit weak. On top of that, I felt that there was a lack of subtlety in the film's dialogue, especially when they're telling jokes. Whenever they tried to make a joke, they tried way too hard, and it ended up being one good joke out of every 10. They also tried to play the fact that Sunset Shimmer wasn't very well liked in school for laughs. They keep restating it and using the same joke over and over as if the audience had amnesia. We get it. People don't like Sunset Shimmer. Move along. The movie had it right the first time when they showed that the students didn't really care for her. They didn't say that the students didn't like her. They showed us. Show, don't tell. I also found the main six's method of transforming a little bit contrived. I can buy the idea of the equestrian magic staying in the EQG universe, but the idea of playing musical instruments to bring the magic out sounds a little too convenient. Those big flaws aside, I do like the lore surrounding the sirens, especially the fact that we even get another canon mention of Star Swirl. It may sound a little stupid that he was the one to send them to the Equestria Girls universe, but if you follow the comics, you can see that there is some sort of connection. In issue number 17, we are shown that Star Swirl and Celestia have been developing mirrors that go to other worlds, including the Equestria Girls mirror. So it's cool how the Siren story ties into this little bit of background that we have on Star Swirl. The strongest character in this film is definitely Sunset Shimmer. She evolves from being a bland villain in the first movie to being a likable and sympathetic protagonist in this one. I really enjoyed the fact that she was the main character and not Twilight. This allows us to see more of her struggle to become accepted and break out of her former reputation of being evil. Unfortunately, her characterization is undermined by one character, Twilight. Why the hell is she in this movie? Yes, I know the other girls called on her to write up a counterspell to the Siren song, and that would have been fine if she actually ended up writing it. All she does in this movie is whine and moan about how she can't write the spell, And in the end, she doesn't even write it. She just uses Fluttershy's song. I know it's a lesson about how you can't expect to handle all your problems yourself and how your friends can help you out in a jam. But the problem with that is the fact that Twilight has learned this lesson on more than one occasion in the TV show. Plus, the movie seemed to be telling us that Sunset Shimmer is going to be the Twilight of the Equestria Girls main six. So we really didn't need Twilight to be here. Without her, we would have had more time to focus on Sunset Shimmer and less time to focus on that stupid math mumbo-jumbo Twilight used to bypass the limitations of the mirror. And the idea that the journal had just arrived at Twilight's castle sounded way too convenient. Another character that rubbed me the wrong way was Pinkie Pie. Shocker. I really hate that when something needs explaining, the writers resort to using Pinkie Pie as a means to explain it. It's been used several times before in the show and on numerous occasions in Rainbow Rocks. It just comes off as lazy, and with the amount of times they've done it, it's becoming annoying as well, just like every other aspect of Pinkie Pie's character. Another thing that shouldn't be a surprise is that Flash Sentry is still a useless character. I dare say that he's even more useless in this film than he was in the last one. All he does is fawn over Twilight, and if she wasn't in the movie, we wouldn't even have to see Flash, or at least not hear from him. On the bright side, I think the Dazzling served as decent villains. Wait, let me rephrase that. I think Adagio served as a decent villain. I was unimpressed with the other two. Sonata's role as the comic relief of the trio ends up falling flat. She doesn't help improve the bland humor of the movie. In fact, she's one of the main contributors to the bland humor. Apparently, a lot of people don't agree with me since Sonata is now competing with Coco Pamel for Waifu of the Year. Don't worry, Coco, I still love you. As for Aria, she was just there. She didn't add anything to the group dynamic and just ended up being a flat, boring character. Still, even with the two duds of the group, the Dazzlings were enjoyable to watch. Except when they smile. Then they're just creepy. Both the music and the visuals for Rainbow Rocks were a vast improvement over what we saw last year. You can tell that DHX got used to using human puppets and improved on their animation. This is especially evident during the final battle between the Rainbooms and the Dazzlings, as well as during the song Under Our Spell, where they go over the bracket of the Battle of the Bands competition and show each of the bands competing. Oh, poor Octavia. I don't know if it's just me, but I was really hoping for the song to go over the entire bracket and show all of the bands competing so we could see which band had which ponies in it. Wait, I'm sorry, which band had which students in it. Had to catch myself there. Hold up. Are Lyra and Bon Bon... Oh... Onto the music, there were some legitimately good tracks here. Unlike the last film, where the songs are so jarringly similar they rival that of a Pitbull album, I found myself bopping my head to some of these tunes, especially the songs by the Dazzlings. I still can't decide whether Under Our Spell or Let's Have a Battle is my favorite, but people seem to prefer the latter. Why are the fan favorite songs sung in the cafeteria? Of course, there were some songs that I didn't particularly like. Awesome as I want to be. But you have to expect a movie with so many songs to have at least one or two bad ones. Shake your tail. Although I did enjoy the final song where Sex Bomb battles the Kari and Nagi twins. Oh wait, that's the wrong movie. I was really up and down with this movie as I was watching it. I loved the beginning, I liked the ending, but the middle annoyed me because Twilight. Seriously, what a gross misuse of a character. But that doesn't change the fact that I find this film to be exponentially better than the last one. While the first Equestria Girls just served as a distraction to hold us over till season 4, Rainbow Rocks turned out to be a legitimately enjoyable experience. So even if you couldn't stomach the first film, I still think you should give this one a shot. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna do with my refund money. So, have you seen Rainbow Rocks? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any additional questions about how I feel about other aspects of the movie, you can hit me up on my Tumblr Ask box. Until next time, keep it sketchy, folks.